In the world of car wrecks, everything varies on level of severity. Your injuries, the speed of the impact, the veracity of the impact, how long it takes to get better, the level of property damage. But when you're talking about commercial trucking collisions, the big trucks on the road, that's even more separate from a car accident. And the reason for that is size and money. Size of the truck, size of the corporation, the amount of money involved in the company, and the amount of money involved in fighting against you. From the second a wreck occurs with a big truck, the company is mobilized immediately. Sometimes they're even there before the ambulance or the police arrive. They'll have a lawyer, they'll have an insurance representative, they'll have an accident reconstructionist. We've seen a lot of this happen. And by the time we get involved, a client calls us and says they've been in a trucking accident, that truck is gone. That truck has already been made into Coke cans or melted down into some other materials. And the truck driver themselves has been ferried away to a motel somewhere or sent across the country so that they're difficult to find. We were hired on a case once where a mother was killed in a wreck with a truck. Her boyfriend was in the vehicle and was seriously injured, and we had to try to get mobilized as fast as we could, but we were already behind the 8 ball because the family had hired us 3 or 4 days after the collision happened. We had to get in the car and spend 18 to 20 hours just doing the investigating, the initial stuff to track down the truck, to track down the driver. The truck already had pieces missing from it because the insurance company had already gotten there and had their reconstructionists and their investigators dismantle the important parts of the truck. We had to have an investigator on the ground immediately who hunted down the driver who had literally been sent to a motel up the road from where the collision happened, hoping that we wouldn't find him and interview him. This differs greatly from your typical car wreck, where the police arrive, everyone gives their statements, and everyone goes about their business. When you're dealing with a trucking company, you're dealing with a lot of money and a lot of investigative action. This is exactly why people like us exist. You need someone who's experienced in trucking collisions to handle your trucking case. They're very different from a typical car wreck case, and you can't have someone who's only experienced in a car wreck case working on a trucking case. You need someone with a team that can mobilize immediately. You need someone who knows where and how to look for the evidence. And you need someone to identify when the evidence is gone, to know what's missing from that vehicle and to be able to find it. You need someone that can hold accountable these insurance companies and these representatives from trucking companies and not let them get away with hiding the evidence that proves what they did or how they were negligent. You also need someone who's familiar with the federal regulations, with the requirements that these companies are supposed to comply with. A lot of times these trucks are on the road that should never be there because the trucks themselves don't comply, or the drivers don't comply, or the paperwork that would ensure us that the driver and the truck are in compliance with the federal regulations doesn't even exist. You need someone who knows to look for those things and who can identify what's missing. Queener Law has handled trucking cases across the country. We have teams ready to mobilize as soon as you inform us about your collision. Please call us immediately before the evidence is gone.